is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
In South Florida, the Phillies and the Marlins are back at it, and the Fish looking for revenge and looking for some runs. 19 innings straight without a run. The Marlins try to end that tonight, try to even this series at a game apiece. Ryan Howard is in there. Martin Prado and the Fish try to resume their winning ways as Tom Kohler gets a start for Miami. And yes, Ichiro is back in there tonight. Ichiro getting the start, leading it off in center field. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Al Leiter. Offense for the Marlins all of a sudden an issue. Maybe Ichiro's arrival will spark them to life.
Why not, right? Ichiro, was he 4 away? And listen, I think looking at this, there's a couple things. Tom Kohler coming off a good start 5 days ago. Jared Eichhoff, his last 3. Not only did he go 5 innings and give up 5 against the Marlins up in Philadelphia, the young pitcher for the Phillies has got an ERA of like 8+ in his last few starts. So that's a good thing. You're giving Ozuna a day off. Let's see what Ichiro can do. This is a good offensive team, the Marlins.
And the Marlins are anxious to see if Tom Kohler can duplicate what he did up in Philly.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Rich. Listen, every pitcher, every baseball player, you go by confidence, your mood, and your psyche of how you're feeling. You come off a start like that with Tom Kohler. I love the 1 walk, the 8 innings, of course, and only 2 hits, the 1 earned run. He had an excellent curveball slider combination later in the game, second, third time around. As a matter of fact, he threw 30% of his curveball pitches were curveballs. That pitch right there. When it's down in the zone, excellent pitch there to Freddie Galvis. He is tough to hit.
All right, if you're looking for runs, maybe it's against this guy. The Marlins scored a bunch of runs against Eichhoff and the Phils when he faced Kohler.
Yeah, he's got a good curveball, good change. He's going to throw right about 91 miles an hour. You see the numbers. Now, he's got a different mindset as opposed to Tom Kohler feeling good about it. But it's not only those numbers. As I said, his last 3 starts have not been good.
Miami and Philly. Philly's got game 1. Marlins want game 2. Baseball wish. You don't want to miss this. The wish was made today and fulfilled today in the manager's office and in the Marlins clubhouse. Presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Fish Fills. It's Tuesday. Emails and tweets, kids. Let's start it with Jessica Blaylock. Hi, Jess.
Hey, Rich. A little bit of a managerial change today for the Marlins, and that's because the team paired up with Make-A-Wish Foundation to grant Micah Goman's baseball wish. He wanted to become manager of the Marlins for a day, and that's exactly what happened. Micah got to Marlins Park earlier this afternoon, but the first thing that he had to do was sign his contract. There he is with Mike Hill, making it official that he would become the manager of the Marlins. After that, it was the tough decisions. He had to set the starting lineup. He worked with Don Mattingly. Word is that he pushed hard for Ichiro, who was in the leadoff spot. And then he got to meet some of the players, including Jose Fernandez. After that, he took a spin around the clubhouse, wanted to check out all of the facilities, and the day wasn't done yet. He got to join the team on the field for batting practice. That is good stuff right there. So for Micah, his baseball wish was to become the manager of the Marlins for the day, and that got us thinking, what is your baseball wish? That is going to be the theme of tonight's Twitter and Email Tuesday, driven by Ford. Send your tweets to @FoxMarlins. Your emails can go to foxmarlins@gmail.com, and don't forget to use that hashtag baseball wish. What do you want to see? Do you want to see a Marlins World Series? Do you want to catch a Giancarlo Stanton home run ball? Tell us what you think. Be sure to keep it right here. Coming up next, it is first pitch between the Marlins and the Phillies. Tom Kohler on the mound today. He pitched really well against the Phillies last time, was able to make it through 8 innings. The Marlins will also look to get their offense going today.
Sports Florida, brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Buy your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Phillies and Fish. There's Micah, his baseball wish to manage the Fish. I like the fact that he was pushing for Ichiro to be in the starting lineup, because guess what? He is leading off. We'll have lineups when we return. Tom Kohler back at the Phillies. 6 days ago, Kohler matched up against the Phils and beat him 9-3. U Health brings you the Phillies lineup. Cesar Hernandez in the leadoff spot. Odubel Herrera in center. Kyle Franco at third. Ryan Howard hits cleanup. Cameron Rupp hitting fifth. Cody Ashes in left. Freddie Galvis at short. Peter Borges out in right. And Jared Eichhoff, who opposed Kohler in that ball game, hits ninth.
You mentioned about it, Rich. Tom Kohler coming off a nice start against this Philadelphia Philly lineup, who hasn't been hitting of late. It'll be his 21st start. 108 innings, too many walks, 53 walks. Not a great ratio.
He was terrific at Citizens Bank Park. 8 innings, 2 hits, a walk. The 2 hits were home runs. Ryan Howard, Freddie Galvis both went deep. Kohler misses out to Cesar Hernandez. Odubel Herrera, Kyle Franco. The Phillies outlasted the Fish last night 4-0. A tight game throughout. The Phillies got their 4 runs in the last 2 innings. Derek Dietrich makes the play. Dietrich not in the starting lineup to begin things. Tell you that story as we run through the defense. Southwest Airlines brings it to you. In the outfield, Yelich and Stanton in the corners. Ichiro is in center. Martin Prado and Miguel Rojas is at first. Dietrich at second. Echeverria at short. Jeff Mathis, who caught Kohler up in Philly, is behind the plate. Original lineup at Chris Johnson at first. Miguel Rojas at second. Remember, Johnson fouled the pitch off his foot over the weekend against the Mets. He took batting practice, swung the bat well, cannot yet run full out, so a late scratch. Dietrich went in his spot in the order, and Rojas was pushed over to first. And a breaking ball from Kohler is up to Odubel Herrera.
One of the young, nice-looking players from the Philadelphia Phillies in their rebuild mode. No question, Odubel Herrera looks like he'll be part of their future as an all-star for the first time. He's out in San Diego.
Fastball misses out, and Herrera's at bat was shrouded in a bit of mystery last night. Late, when the Marlins, well, the Phillies had runners at first and second, or excuse me, first and third, with 1 out. The Marlins had the infield in, and Cesar Hernandez stole second. Dual pitch, a swing and a miss. And there were 2 questions that we had. Number 1, why infield in, not playing for 2? Don Mattingly pointed out Herrera is the 2nd toughest in the National League to double up. He's only bounced into 1 double play in 374 plate appearances. Chase Utley hadn't hit into a double play yet. He's number 1 on that list. Here's the 2-1 pitch. And number 2, the Marlins had the infield in, but the plan was to hold Cesar Hernandez at first, and that's where it went wrong. As Mattingly said, there was a mix-up in signs. The Marlins didn't hold Hernandez properly, and he stole second. And of course, Herrera hit the ball that Echeverria snared and then threw wildly to the plate, and 2 runs scored. 2-2 from Kohler. So I hope we clear up that mystery right out of the chute. Breaking ball.
Yeah, that was foul. That was good. Went down and talked to Don Mattingly, and there was a bit of most of the time right. You got one out, first and third. The Marlins were down by 2 in the 9th inning. Ramos coming in after 6 days in a non-closing situation, and Donnie elected to pull the infielders in to try to preserve it, to not to go to 3-0, and didn't work out.
2-2. All right, Al Leiter, you've seen Tom Koehler a little bit before, and you saw the highlights of him in Philly. What was different about Philly than the previous starts? Because he'd averaged just 4 innings a start in his previous 4 outings.
Well, he's been good in all of his starts this year, Rich, against the Phillies. 3 starts in ERA at 1.64. What he did differently in Philadelphia, he threw more curveballs. His slider ratio was about the same. There it is right there. His fastball batting average against is 300 plus, is 50% on the season. And if you look at every pitcher, and Kohler's one of the guys, he's got 3 secondary pitches: slider, curveball, changeup, in that order. His slider and curveball at times is a very good pitch. 187 batting average against for the slider and the curveball, 233. He went from a 21% on his curveball to over 30%. Recognizing it's a good pitch against an aggressive young team. That pitch right there.
And that's a check swing. He went around. Mathis knocks it down, picks it up.
But even that at bat, maybe we get a chance to go pitch by pitch. I mean, it was the sequence of still throwing fastballs. I know, you know, Jeff Cohen and I before the game with the pregame of, you know, if your batting average against is high on a fastball, you know, why not just throw a lot, you know, all off speed? You can't do that.
Give us your scouting report on it.
There you go, back-to-back fighting Phils. I mentioned that when we're talking about it. 8 innings, the 1 earned run, but in 3 starts, in 22 innings, a 1.64 ERA. Curveballs and sliders. I love the combination. He still has to throw his fastball, and a consistent delivery. Sounds kind of obvious, but you know, hopefully I'll get a chance to talk about it tonight. Tom Kohler's a guy that kind of gets that little bit of a turn. Not a Louis Tiant or what Johnny Cueto does, or Kevin Brown, my old teammate. There's Juan Nieves, the pitching coach for the Marlins. But when you turn, you have to still get on top.
Look out. Ball and bat up the middle. Echeverria on to first, and a nice start for Tom Koehler to this one. A 1-2-3 first. Ichiro leads it off. Start with a slumping Marcell Ozuna in center. U-Health brings you Miami's lineup. Ichiro on top, Prado, Yelich, Stanton, Dietrich, Echeverria, Mathis. We go Rojas and Tom Koehler. And here is Ichiro getting the start. His playing time over the last week has diminished because of the health and the production from Yelich, Stanton, and Ozuna up until about 4 or 5 days ago, when Ozuna's bat has gone a little cold. Don Mattingly has Ichiro in there 4-hit shy. Ichiro to right. It's deep. It is caught at the wall. Wow. Borges bounces off the Ford sign and robs Ichiro of extra bases. How about that?
Wow. That's put a little excitement right away on the first pitch of this game. The anticipation that's leading up to Ichiro's 3,000 hits. First pitch from Eichhoff, put some juice into it. Nice job by Peter Borges, checking the wall, times it. Excellent play by an athletic right fielder, really early in his career. Peter Borges in center field. Heck of a play. Robin Ichiro.
One pitch, one out, and Borges still shaking off the effects of that collision. Martin Prado now with Christian Yelich behind him. Marlins did homer against Eichhoff up in Philly. It was Christian Yelich. Prado takes a fastball for a strike. Prado 0 for 4 last night. Marlins have gone 19 innings without a run, and in those 19 innings, just 8 singles. Backhanded. Galvis gets the out.
Let's take a look at Jared Eichhoff. You see his numbers there. 3.98 ERA coming up. He's a nice looking young right-handed pitcher, part of the rebuilding process of the Phillies. Let's take a look at his scouting report. I mentioned that his struggles of late, his last 3 starts, 0-2 with an 8.27 ERA, 16 3rd innings, 15 earned runs. Hey, part of the rebuilding. He was part of the Cole Hamels trade. They got a nice young rotation. Aaron Nola, Vince Velasquez, Zach Eflin, and curveball is his out pitch. There's no question about it. His pitch, when he's ahead and he uses it, a 118 batting average against this year in 170 plate appearances that ended in a curveball. When he gets to 0-2, 1-2, he likes to use it.
Yelich had 2 hits against him before his 5th inning exit. A homer and a single. And Christian opens the day 5th in the National League in hitting, 4th in on-base percentage. 398 on base. And up in Philly, this was Yelich opposite field.
Great place to hit. I love when I see hitters that stay on the ball and hit the ball where it's thrown. That ball is running away from him. What a nice player, good hitter, superstar in the making, Christian Yelich.
2-1. And it's out. GMC big matchup numbers. So the 2 hits his last time out, 3 for 6, also had a double. And a 3-1 coming from the 26-year-old. Yelich cracks it in the gap right center field. Borges over to get it. Yelich to first, and that's as far as he'll get. That brings up Stanton. We said the Phillies defense. Southwest brings you that. In the outfield, Cody Ashley, Odubel Herrera, Peter Borges, Cal Franco, and Ryan Howard on the corners. Good up the middle defensively with Galvis and Hernandez. Cameron Rupp behind the plates.
Galvis, excellent shortstop, defensive shortstop. He may eventually move over to second base. J.P. Crawford, one of the top prospects in baseball. Looks like he's primed to be ready at the big league level.
Stanton now. Giancarlo 1 for 3 in last night's ball game against Eichhoff. Not a lot of at bats, just 3. 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. Yelich runner at first. Now the Phil's shift here has got Galvis way over in the hole at short, and Hernandez still on the first base side. Look at the hole from second base to the standard operating shortstop position. Stanton fouls it at the plate. Ball and a strike.
The defensive metrics in Major League Baseball now, we've almost talked to it ad nauseum, but this is the way it is. I mean, this isn't by chance. I mean, if you see the big hole, as Rich just mentioned, this is every single play, every ball hit, everything is documented, put down, computed.
That's a pitch that Stanton's had a little trouble laying off, that inside fastball.
Well, I mean, typically as a pitcher, guys that can hit the ball at a Yellowstone, as Stanton can, you try to bust him inside so he doesn't extend his arms. I mean, it's very typical of a guy who's got the strength and power of Giancarlo.
And that's where they go again, 3-1.
So now the mindset or the idea of that would be pound what I refer to as body line, whether it's down and in or up and in. And then as a right-handed pitcher, he's got the good curveball that'll go something slow down and away. Textbook pitching. Even foul ball, ground balls off of his bat. Impressive. Now this, to me, is a mistake. You know, when you have a hitter with such power and you know, fearsome type of ability, you miss middle of the plate too often. Major league hitters, they're going to hit it hard, far.
What's he get? 3-2.
His out pitch, as I said, is a curveball. I wouldn't be surprised right here. Yep.
There's the curve, and Stanton went after it and floats it out to Borges in right. Well, Ichiro put one to the wall in deep right center. A scoreless start in Miami.
Disponible en español a través del SAP y es presentado a ustedes por Kendall Toyota y West Kendall Toyota.
In Miami tonight, Phils and Fish and scoreless. Ichiro blasting one to the wall for an out, his first at bat. He's 4 shy of 3,000. Rich Waltz outlier, Jessica Blaylock. Emails and tweets driven by Ford, which is exactly where Ichiro hit it, to the Ford side and right center.
Bomb, right?
At
First off
Fox,
the bat.
yeah, at Fox Marlins is our Twitter handle. Ryan Howard is up, and Al is about to throw out the ceremonial first question of the night. Howard sends one in the upper reaches foul. Go ahead,
Well,
outlier.
I wanted to join in on the fun, and last time I was here, I got a chance to do the Tweet Tuesdays. What is it? Twitter Tuesday?
Twitter Tuesday.
Okay, so Dez. Let's wait for this pitch right here, right?
Yeah, you're learning. Very nice. Here's the 0-1.
I don't want to mess up your call. Here's the question. How come Ichiro Suzuki has his first name on the back of his jersey? Has anybody else ever had that?
In Major League Baseball, I believe someone else has.
All right, first question. Why? How was he able to do that, not Suzuki?
When Ichiro, now,
I know
you have to go back when he was a teenager, because he got to the top level in Japanese professional baseball when he was 18. But his manager did not like his swing, and so he sent him down to the minor leagues. Same when he was 19. So 18 and 19, his first 2 years in Japan, Ichiro played in just 83 total games. He hit .253 and a .188. That manager got fired. New manager comes in, tells Ichiro, I like your swing. I think you're going to be great. Swing and a miss. But how does he know at that point, right? Because at 18 and 19, he struggled. So Ichiro starts to play, and the manager calls him into his office and says, Ichiro, I want you to go by Ichiro. I don't want Suzuki on the back of your jersey. And Ichiro's just happy to be in the big leagues at that point. He says, at the time, Suzuki is the second most popular last name in Japan. He said, there are a ton of Suzukis playing baseball here in Japan. He said, but you are going to be special. With that swing of yours, you are going to be special. So I want you to put Ichiro on your jersey and go by your first name.
Wow.
Ichiro wasn't happy, didn't like it.
Oh, we did?
He's not a guy that likes to draw attention to himself, but he was happy to be in the big leagues. He had a manager that believed in him, a manager that put him in the lineup. And so he went with it. And he went off his 20 when he was 20 in Japan. He absolutely goes off, and so now all of a sudden everybody knows him as Ichiro.
Comes here and is allowed to do it. I think that's the question from Dez63. You know, that's unprecedented, right? It's the last name on the back of a jersey, and he's the only one.
Check swing and a strikeout.
Nice slider, curveball. He blows away first at bat, and Ryan Howard and Cameron Rupp, no chance. Mentioned about slider curves. That's a great shot right there. 12-6, folks. Starts at the top, 12 o'clock, down to 6. Nice job, Jeff Mathis, keeping that from not getting too far away from him. Good pitch. I think Junior wanted Junior on the back of his jersey. Ken Griffey Jr.
Vida blue, Chili Davis. Vida wore Vida, Chili wore Chili. There you go. That's the crack staff. They're working hard in the truck.
I'm not buying the Chili Davis thing. I remember seeing Davis in Anaheim.
Here's the 1-0 to Ashe. All right, we're going to have to dig even deeper now to come up with
Sorry, guys.
photographic evidence for Al here. We're looking for it. No, but as a kid growing up, I remember Vida blue wearing Vida. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was a Finley thing, if Charlie O. Finley decided that was a good idea. Ashe 1 for 3 in last night's ball game, getting the start in left.
Paint pellet on the corner there. Home plate umpire Chris Conroy saw it as a ball. There it is. Gosh, I wanted everything to strike Rich.
Yeah, you did. Goalers 2-2 coming. Breaking ball. Dietrich gobbles it up on to first. Tom Kohler looks sharp. Has retired all 6. Marlins and Phillies scoreless. The bottom of the first. The first pitch Ichiro saw, he blasted to the wall in right center. Peter Borges made a leap and a catch and then banged into the wall.
Shoulder.
And Borges has left the game. You saw Jimmy Paredes in the shot before Borges in the replay. And so Paredes is out there in right. Eric Dietrich is at the plate, and a fastball misses up. So adjust your scorecards accordingly. For Dietrich, it's been somewhat of a struggle of late. Oh for his last 14. He yanks that one and hits it way up into the upper deck. Foul, but impressive. It's 1-2. Dietrich flips it foul. All right, Al, here's one for you. This is from Fish on the Farm. With Jared Cozart looking good in his first start, do the Marlins rethink their approach at the trade deadline?
No, I mean, you're always looking to improve your team. And while Jared Cozart pitched a nice game last night, 5 innings, pitch count was up, Don Mattingly pulled him, only 3 hits, and no runs. You don't stop. Oh.
That goes flying. Ball ends up in the glove of Cameron Rupp, and he throws out Dietrich.
You don't stop to try to improve your team, and all the teams, and the Marlins are in the sweet spot as a legitimate playoff team. People thought that out of spring training, and here they are, less than a couple weeks from the trade deadline. Absolutely not. If the Marlins can find a front end guy that can complement Jose Fernandez, I mean, come on, look out. This is going to be a great ride right down to the end.
One note on Cozart. The thumb issue he had was a small one and will not prevent him from his next start.
Yeah, we saw that last night.
Echeverria pops it into shallow center. 2 quick outs for Eichhoff. Now, Al, you were wondering, anybody else have their first name on a Major League jersey on the back?
Oh,
there you go.
Vida Blue.
Photographic evidence for you. Vida Blue, Chili Davis.
Chili. So there you go.
And my favorite player growing up, Campy Campaneris.
Was he?
Yes.
Or Campaneris.
Shortstop for the 3-time world champion Oakland Athletics.
So there you go.
So there you go. That's just 3. My guess is there's somebody maybe for a promotion somewhere, but those 3, all significant players, all very good players, all all-stars. And Blue and Campaneris, world champions as well. Chili Davis, did he play on a World Series team in Minnesota?
Minnesota, wasn't he on the '96 Yankees?
Might have been. Mathis cracks one left field deep. That's over the head of Ashe. Bangs off the wall. And Jeff Mathis pulls in with a double. In the 7th spot tonight, Mathis his 3rd double of the year. That'll give Rojas an at-bat, a chance to drive in a run.
He gets a 2-0 count right here. You see the spinner. That's a cement mixer that just stays middle of the plate. Something up out over the plate as Jeff Mathis hammering that ball over Cody Ashe's head. Easy double. That ball is spun up there, doesn't do much. It's kind of a strike break ball. Nice job, Jeff Mathis, staying on it.
Rojas to center. Odubel Herrera is there, and he makes the catch. Jeff Idelson, president of the Baseball Hall of Fame, will be our guest. We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about Ichiro. We'll talk about Sunday on a Twitter and email Tuesday and a scoreless game here. Miami, the Phils and the Fish. Camp day tomorrow, big day here. 12:10 start, Fish and Phils. Camp tickets start at just $10. Book your camp at marlins.com/groups. And oh, by the way, the commissioner is here. And before the game, the Marlins will unveil the All-Star Game logo. So commissioner tomorrow. Tonight, Jeff Idelson joins us, president of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Welcome to the booth. I can't believe that both you and you were here yesterday after Sunday. How'd you get here so fast?
He didn't.
No, you know, I got up and left Cooperstown after we had our Hall of Famers dinner where the guys, Piazza and Griffey, got their rings and took care of a couple loose ends, and I drove down to Newark and caught a morning flight.
Wow. And Al, you got out of Cooperstown that night?
Well, Jeff's got, he's running the whole thing, so he had to stick around a little bit, sweep up and close the tables up and hang out. You know what? That was my first. I've been up there a few times, Jeff,
right,
as you know, and the first time I was at an actual induction, and I couldn't have been more impressed with the flow. I thought 50,000 people in a little Tony town upstate New York.
Right.
I mean, excellent. I mean, really, really well done. A great baseball event, as you know, of course. You've been running the hall for a long time. Is it easy to figure out a way to control the flow of what does the town multiply by on induction weekend?
Well, we were about 25 times our population. We're a town of 1,800, one stoplight, as you know, and it works well though. And the fans, you manage expectations. Fans know what to expect. It's not only Griffey and Piazza up there, but it's another 48 returning Hall of Famers as well. So that's what draws. And when the fans come up, it's their baseball cards coming to life, as you know, and it's been a great vibe. The Hall of Famers come back every year, so they know how it flows, and you just hope Mother Nature's having a good weekend,
And the speeches were exceptional. Watching the fathers of both Piazza and Griffey on MLB Network, just anybody that who had a father that played or helped them along in their careers. That was a very emotional moment. Two very emotional moments.
Yeah, you see that every year. I mean, the guys always come in in the winter when they get in. Oh, I'm not going to cry. I don't cry. It's like, look, Nolan Ryan's crying. You're crying. So everybody cries, and it's emotional. It's a culmination of your career. And, you have your dad and your mom. If you're lucky enough to have them both live in the front row, and as you said, Rich, both of those guys, their dads and their, in Junior's case, both their moms were instrumental. And I think it took Ken about 20 seconds to lose it, and Mike wasn't far behind.
Freddie Galvis with a base hit, and Tom Kohler trying to keep him close.
Jeff, I said this as I was on with Harold Reynolds, and we covered it MLB Network, that this wonderful game of ours, all different shapes and sizes and strengths and different athletic ability, but it couldn't have been more polar opposite. If it was Ken Griffey Jr., first #1 overall in the draft, you had a guy in the 62nd round that was a favorite pick, Tommy Sorter, and his friendship with Mike Piazza's father. I mean, did you sense another level of baseball greatness, of how anybody can kind of do it, no matter where you are?
Exactly right. I mean, it's
liner to left, Yelich there. Galvis retreats to first.
I mean, you know, and Mike opened up his speech, I think, perfectly, saying, you know, Ken, you're #1 pick. You could have rested on your laurels, but you worked your butt off. And then Mike had to work his butt off, obviously, being, you know, there are only 43 guys drafted after him. Only 43 other players are drafted after him. So this is a guy that, you know, had to overcome all sorts of odds. And, yeah, I mean, it's quite a dichotomy to have the first pick and virtually the last pick in back-to-back draft share stage in Cooperstown.
And the amazing thing is, Griffey is the first overall pick to get to the Hall of Fame. That's stunning to me. Now, Chipper Jones might be the second, but you would think the #1 overall, that's a sliding catch by Rojas. And the second out here. You would think the #1 overall would have arrived in Cooperstown a lot sooner than Griffey.
Well, you know what? It just underscores how difficult it is to make it to the Hall. And, you know, 18,600 players have been in the history of the game since the National League was born in 1876. And you got, you know, 217 in the Hall of Fame. So it's 1%. And it's incredibly difficult to get in. So it's just really, when a guy gets there, it's not by mistake. Let's put it that way.
Griffey is the first Mariner to get there. The Marlins don't have anyone there yet. Although Gary Sheffield has said if he gets there, he'd like to be considered for his work as a Marlin. I know players don't necessarily get the choice. How does that work?
You just try to guide them. At the end, you know, you want them to make a good decision and a smart decision, and not one with their head versus their heart. And what we have to do is, the folks who run the Hall of Fame, is think 50 years down the line. For instance, you look at Ty Cobb, who played his entire career in Detroit, except for 1 year with Philadelphia with the A's at the end. And if you came in the plaque gallery and saw him in a Philadelphia A's cap, you'd be saying, what does that mean? Why would that happen? So, you know, with Junior, it was basically Mariners, Reds, or no logo. With Piazza, it was, you know, Dodgers, Mets, or I suggested the backwards helmet, you know, with the eye black, in case he didn't want to do either one of those, the mask on the top. But he wanted to go Mets. You know, Junior wanted to go with Mariners, as he said, your first team is always your best, and both guys are happy, and we are.
Well, let's hope that Mr. Sheffield has that choice to make, or has some input and has that decision to make in a few years. Here, scoreless ball game. Tom Kohler, Phillies getting their second crack against him in less than a week. And a 1-1 coming. Runner goes. Mathis' throw is high and out off the bag. Galvis on a pop-up slide, and it was the pop-up that was problematic.
I'm sure they're going to want to look at this. The Phillies will.
Normally it's the defensive team that looks at this play, right?
Yeah.
Not the offensive team. Well, that's close. You saw his foot come off, and then the glove got him. All right. Onward and upward. Ichiro due up. We'll talk Ichiro in the Hall of Fame when we return, a scoreless game in Miami. Jason Whitlock do. Brains to know, guts to say. Catch Colin and Jason as they team up for FS1's new daily sports talk show, Speak for Yourself, weeknights at 6 Eastern. Into the bottom of the third, Tom Kohler, Ichiro, and Martin Prado against Jared Eichhoff. Jeff Idelson of baseball's Hall of Fame, the president of the Hall of Fame, is with us. Now, I remember that rookie year in 2001 quite well in Seattle. Ichiro lit the American League on fire, was the MVP. And at the end of the season, I remember hearing a rumor that he went to the Hall of Fame.
He did. He came up completely under the radar, and I was excited. I followed him in Japan. I mean, anytime somebody gets 7 batting titles in 9 years, no matter what planet they live on, you can follow it. And so he had come up, and it was great. He came up. It was very under the radar. He actually won Rookie of the Year in my office. Sitting in my office, the writers are said to him, "Well, where are you?" And he said, "Well, you know, I'm in the United States." That's what you need to know. and that was the first of 6 visits to Cooperstown.
Is that right? In your office when he found out he was Rookie of the Year?
Did the conference call. Yeah, sort of like nice thing for him.
Well, I'm glad you're here because I said earlier in the season that here's Ichiro taking fastball. Ichiro has more knowledge of the history of this game than maybe 90% of the players in uniform in the major leagues. Breaking ball, ground ball, up the middle, backhanded there. Hernandez just in time to get him. Is that accurate? Has he got more knowledge than, say, 90% of the guys out there?
You know, with him being a bit of an older player here, Rich, he's got to be a bit of a teacher with the younger guys. And Cooperstown, he's the ultimate student. And when he comes up, it's all about learning about the history. It's all about the players that he's encountered along the way, from history that he's overcome. Joe Jackson when he won Rookie of the Year. You know, George Sisler in 04 when he set the single season mark. Wee Willie Keeler with the 10 straight 200-hit seasons. But it's also the entire history, the cultural side of it, the art, what goes into recording games. It all matters to him, and he is the ultimate student. He's incredibly knowledgeable.
Love the fact that when he visited the Negro League Museum in Kansas City, he made a very, very sizable donation. I think the largest donation a player's ever made to the Negro League Museum as well in Kansas City.
Does not surprise me. You know, he appreciates so much the footsteps that he's followed, the guys that played before him, and you know, he's been great with us on the artifact side. Whenever we've asked, he said yes. He's pledged his entire collection to us after his career's over. The only other 2 guys I've had do that since I've been there are Hank Aaron and Tom Seaver. So, you know, you mentioned those 2 guys with him. That's pretty nice company.
It is. We had pretty nice company here as Ryan Howard makes
Quick
the catch.
inning. I can talk to Jeff all day.
How about that? Jeff, thank you very much for stopping by. Enjoy your stay here.
Always a pleasure, Al.
And we hope that the president of the Hall of Fame gets to view a little history.
Be nice.
While he's here in South Florida. side look. Longest scoreless inning streaks for the Fish. Right now, 22 games. And that's this season, or excuse me, innings streak. 22 innings. And the Fish, not only without a run in that span, but with just 10 hits in that span. Only one extra base hit. That was the double by Mathis in the second. So, Al Leiter, Miami's hit a dry spell here against Jared Eichhoff. Last night, Jeremy Hellickson. And the game before, Steven Matz in the Mets bullpen.
Well, yeah, it happens, right? Slumps, guys get in slumps. You hope that it's not a collective entire lineup. We saw what I think over the last 2 games, not including these 3 innings for the Marlins, they only had 8 singles between Sunday's game and then the 2 singles they had last night. I look for, Rich, and you watch for pitches that should be hit hard. And already, I mean, Mitro hit a couple hard. Yelich, well, Yelich and Mathis both double and single respectively.
Breaking ball misses down though. Now we get emails and tweets from all kinds of folks. Baseball players, baseball fans, kids, dads, moms, grandmas, grandpas. Here's a 2-2. Swing and a miss. Let's go down to Craig Minervini. Craig.
Hey, Rich, when Miguel Rojas got the start at first base against the Mets on Sunday, that was the first time he's ever started at first base anywhere. Not as a kid, not in the minors, not with the Dodgers. It was in the big leagues, but he has worked out quite a bit since he came over to the Marlins at first base. Made a nice play in this game on the bunt. Perry Hill says he's the best defensive first baseman on the club. And he did tell me after that game Sunday, on Monday, his legs were as tired as he can ever remember after a game. He said people just don't understand the difficulty with first base, with the constant movement on and off the base, and the mental exhaust that you can get as well from being in on virtually every play of the game. But he looks pretty smooth over there at first base. Said it was a lot of fun playing there too, guys.
You're right, Craig. Great hands, great feet. And Miguel Rojas has had some action over there at first base already. Perry Hill watching from his post.
The best Perry Hill, infield coach for many years in big leagues.
Odubel Herrera takes a fastball in from Tom Kohler. Lost his bat. Picks it back up. Kohler punched him out in the first. We were having that discussion about players that had their first name on their jersey. We have an email from Stan Bonson, former Major League pitcher.
Sure.
First, he wants to say hi, Al.
Hello, Stan. Excellent Major League pitcher. Are you kidding?
He's watching the telecast. And so we went through a few guys. Some of them were Oakland Athletics, right? Vida Blue, Campaneris. They had their first names on. Chili Davis. In 1977, when Stan Bonson was with the A's, Charlie Finley called him and asked him if he thought Dick Allen could help the A's. And they were teammates with the White Sox in '72. And Richie Allen was a terrific player. That one's going to sneak into right field. And when the A's acquired him, one request that Richie Allen wanted was he didn't want his name, last name, or first name. He wanted his hometown on the back of his jersey. And so he got it. His hometown, Wampum, Pennsylvania. So Wampum was on the back of his jersey as an Athletic in '77.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember that. Was that just like a game, a weekend, something special? Was it all year? Stan Bonson? Well, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Wampum.
Wampum. Runner goes. Mathis throw on a hop hits the runner. And Odubel Herrera has a stolen base, his 16th of the season. And the Phillies have a runner in scoring position.
Good pitch to run on. Tom Kohler, something in the dirt. Tough pitch for Mathis. 16 bags for Herrera.
Marlins trying to pick him off.
Got a picture of Wampum, number 60. Thanks, Stan. Dick Gallen, Wampum. How fun was Charlie Finley? Would that have gotten away with today? I'd say no.
I don't know. I mean, Finley was colorful, creative. A lot of his ideas ended up happening. Designated hitter. There you go. That is Rich Young, thanks to Stan Bonson.
Wampum.
How about that?
I like it.
Wampum, PA. And I think maybe we've had a few emailers and tweets that maybe Catfish Hunter wore catfish a little bit when he was in Oakland. Marlins trying to keep right now Herrera close at second. Scoreless game. Franco, who got hit by a pitch at a weekend series against the Pirates, returned to the lineup yesterday. 1 for 2. He walked 3 times. Big lead by Herrera. And that breaking ball from Kohler has been working tonight.
Oh, it's a good pitch right there. I'd come back with it, Rich. And Miguel Franco's big bugaboo, 169 batting average against this year against this pitch right here. Actually, slider spin, so that had big down and away movement, but it was slider. Again, 0-2. You got 2 pitches here. Tom Kohler does. Pitcher's pitch, something off the plate.
Mathis knocks it down.
Nice job by Jeff Mathis. Little things like that in the game aren't in the box score, but keep Herrera at second base. Nice job of blocking that ball.
Bouncer to third. Prado looks the runner back, fires the first in time. 2 outs. Fireworks Friday is coming up. The Cardinals are coming to town. The series starts on Thursday. On Friday, a lot of oohs and ahs. And the Budweiser burger and beer package is just $25. Lower level ticket, get a specialty burger and a 16-ounce Outlighter draft beer. Fireworks spectacular after the game. Go to Marlins.com for tickets. Here is Howard now. Remember Howard, what are you looking at?
I like draft.
I know you do. Howard homered against Kohler up in Philly, and he fouls that one back and out of play. Game 1 over. The Cardinals, remember that's a doubleheader, rain out yesterday. The Cardinals beat the Mets 3-2. Now you can look at that as good news or because the Cardinals and the Mets and the Marlins are so tightly bunched in that wild card.
No, I got to stop you there. Anybody in your division, they lose in front of you, I'm taking it.
All right. I'm with you. I will point out, though, that the Marlins have games with the Cardinals and the Pirates coming up. And who knows how that will affect things at the end of September. But you're right. Don Mattingly has said from the very start of, say, a month ago when the Marlins popped into the wild card conversation, that it's all about the division. Nice. Tom Kohler, big breaking ball. Ryan Howard swings through it. And another scoreless game. This is feeling a lot like last night's, only with emails and tweets attached. Ryan Howard. They've met twice, and Kohler has struck him out both times. And the last one with that good, sharp breaking ball.
Nasty.
And now, once again, as we look at Kohler with his grip, we present the magical grips of Al Leiter.
Yes. The grips. That's a spike curveball or a knuckle curveball. This finger index is just basically a guide. Everything comes off your middle finger. He's got the knuckle up as we saw it, and it allows the hand to really get through. So you get this 12-6 spin as opposed to getting around the side of it. This is just a total guide.
Great.
Couldn't throw it. Guys use it as a push. I remember A.J. Burnett used his curveball like that. I'd like to just have my index finger on, but you see this here. I'm doing it left-handed, but it's coming out of his hand. And then once you get to the top, this is what you're doing, and you're pulling down. Thus the 12-6 break. There's a nice one there from Eichhoff.
Yeah, Eichhoff, a plus curveball.
You know, we were talking a little bit now with spin rates, and you hear often about, you know, how quickly can the ball spin. And I think about my time and opportunity to have conversation and been around Sandy Koufax. And I remember one thing Sandy gave really good advice about my curveball was, don't try to make it curve. See how many times you can spin the baseball. And that's ultimately, Rich, what every pitcher tries to do. Because that's where you get that late break. You know, the ball that comes out of your hand and it's got that boom, you know, the off the table spin.
You know, yesterday I was talking to Rick Kranitz about Hellickson, and he said that his curveball and his changeup, he said he's one of the few guys he's ever seen that can spin it that way forward and backwards. You're talking about his changeup because it has a backward spin to it, and accelerated obviously with his curveball, which he feels that he doesn't throw enough and is a plus pitch for him.
You know, listen, you can't get away with any, you know, being a fastball pitcher only unless you throw 105, and even Aroldis Chapman throws an occasional slider. There's a certain things in every pitcher's delivery that they have to do to be able to throw a good breaking ball.
You know, what amazes me, folks, is here's Al Leiter with the baseball showing grips. And if you see him, say at Miami International or Fort Lauderdale, he carries that with him. He will run through grips with you at the airport.
And I just might dust you too. Oh, you want to get knocked down, kid?
Giancarlo Stanton fouls it back. All right, now the Marlins set out to score a run, something that they haven't done for a while. Stanton flied to right. Yelich's walk to open up the bottom of the fourth. Dietrich on deck. Jared Eichhoff lasted just 5 innings against the Fish last week. Marlins had 9 hits and 6 runs against him. But tonight, just 2 hits.
Well, as you said, second time around. Good spot for the Marlins. Yelich, tough hitter, got a single, now a walk to lead off this inning.
Yelich really hasn't run that much this year. He's swiped 4 bags and been caught 3 times.
Yeah, that's not a good ratio of stealing bags.
Oh, Stanton had a pitch, and you could see him react at the plate angrily after he popped that one foul.
Well, that's a big-time hanging breaking ball right here. He actually hung it in his first at bat that stayed kind of middle up. You see that ball? That is a hanging curveball. You see his reaction, as you said, Rich. You know, it looks so juicy, eyes light up, and you want to hit it 500 feet as opposed to 400.
Of course, that was the secret of that home run hitting contest. Just keeping that line drive swing, and the ball's just jumped off his bat. 0-2 now. Let's see what Eichhoff features. Fastball, and he struck him out.
Wow.
So Stanton goes down.
I mean, that was, you know, how often 0-2 pitch. I mean, I had minor league coaches, you weren't allowed to throw a strike after missing that curveball up in the zone. It's a fastball that just by him, 93 miles an hour. You see where they're rough setting up, trying to go away, and this is just an up middle of the zone. Tough pitch for hitters to lay off. It has plate coverage, but yet it's about letter high. And even at 93, as good a hitter as Giancarlo is, hard to lay off.
Dietrich now Now, Dietrich had a couple of hits against Eichhoff, but he's found hits tough to get since. On an 0 for 15 right now. He struck out in the second. This Phillies pitching staff, young, talented, and almost all of them acquired in trades over the last couple of years, as the Phillies have reloaded, rebuilt, retooled, trading away big names to get young arms. There's a strike. .11:30, and you don't want to miss it. Special ceremony on the field. The All-Star logo revealed. The commissioner is here. Zach Eflin and Adam Conley. And a strike to Dietrich. You know, Vince Velasquez acquired in the Giles trade from Houston. Eichhoff came in the Hamels deal with the Rangers with Jake Thompson, one of their young studs in the minor leagues.
That's the guy they're actually can't wait for him to come up. He was kind of the principal prospect in that trade.
And down goes Dietrich on a pitch that missed out, but he was rung up by Chris Conroy.
Yeah, the pitch before that was very similar. Watch the two-seam action here. That ball is running away from the left-handed batter, and it just kept continuing to move. That ball is slightly off the plate. I know it's a ball. It's a tough pitch to take. So far, we're watching Chris Conroy, the home plate umpire, more of a pitcher's umpire. When in doubt, strike, as opposed to a ball.
Yelich has just been standing at first base since that leadoff walk. Eichhoff has punched out too, and he's ahead of Echeverria 0-1. And tomorrow's starter for the Phils, Zach Eflin, not Zach Efron. Though my girls would be thrilled if Zach Efron were pitching. Eflin from Orlando, Haggerty High School, came from the Dodgers in the Rollins deal. That's off the foot of Echeverria. And the count's 0-2.
Well, I mean, as you're describing it, Rich, that's the quickest way in a rebuild mode, is to get as many pitching prospects as possible. You win games with pitching. If you get good starting pitchers on the mound, good stuff, day in and day out, you're going to be in every game.
Oh, 2. I think he hit his foot again. Well, you're getting all kinds of personal.
Let's see where this gets up here, Rich. Oh, how much you want to bet he has a shin guard next to that?
You're getting personal emails and tweets now from buddies around baseball who see you tonight.
Uh-oh, this can't be good.
Woody Woodward says to say hello. Saw you at a distance at Cooperstown. He, of course, part of that Mariner contingent. Yes. Ken Griffey Jr.'s.
Woody Woodward, he was with the Yankees when I was with the youngster.
End of the bat. Howard steps on the bag. Eichhoff and Kohler both are sharp, and both teams are scoreless.
driven by Ford. Tonight, it is all about baseball wishes. Earlier today, I had a chance to talk to a couple of players about their baseball wishes, including Christian Yelich. No surprise here. Yelich said, growing up going to Dodgers games, I always dreamt about playing professional baseball. Miguel Rojas had the same wish. He always wanted to be a Major League Baseball player and wanted to play for at least 10 seasons. And then for Chris Johnson, he said, my wish is the same today as it was when I was a kid. I want to win a World Series. Keep those baseball wishes of yours coming. Send your tweets to @FoxMarlins. Those emails can go to foxmarlins@gmail.com. And don't forget to use the hashtag BaseballWish. Guys.
All right, Jessica, thank you. Our thanks to Ford for driving emails and tweets tonight. Right now, driving the bus is Jared Eichhoff and Tom Kohler.
Well, I think you made the reference last night when it was 0-0. Who's going to blink? And I'll just change that a little bit, Rich Waltz, to who makes more quality pitches and which of the hitters on each respective lineup hits mistakes. Because that's what it comes down to. You get in the middle of the game, as we saw this last night, wasn't until the 8th inning when Fernando Rodney gave up a run. And obviously there's little or no wiggle room. And that's when every single pitch matters.
Have you seen any mistakes tonight?
Well, I mean, we talked about it last inning, you know, and showed the emotion. We saw the, showed the emotion of Giancarlo Stanton on an 0-1 hanging curveball. You know, that's a pitch that he wants to take back. I've seen a few. I think Tommy Kohler, watching him, he's been on that pitch right there is a well, there's one middle of the plate.
Stanton a long way to go towards the line, and he arrives with the ball and makes the catch. Now, Tom Kohler, after his start in Philly, when asked what was different about it, he felt like he was more directional to the plate. Can you translate that from a pitcher's vocabulary?
Well, you know what? Hopefully I could show it somehow if we get a shot of his delivery. What happens with the delivery? And listen, I think it's dangerous for any pitching coach out there to cookie cutter guys. We can watch in, night out, a Major League game of different deliveries, different sizes and shapes of how guys get it done.
That's a great pitch there. In on the hands. Echeverria's out. Yelich is in. Makes the catch.
Nice pitch. Good location. That's it, right? He doesn't have to throw 95 to jam a guy. That was a well-located fastball. So direction, Rich, let's show here. He's coming out of his hand. That's a four-seam fastball. Four-seam from a right-hander to a left-handed batter. You want, if anything, a little cut. That ball's on the inside third. That's a nice spot in on the hands of a guy, Cody Ashew, who likes extension and be able to extend his arms and get the ball out over the plate. Direction means if you get a little bit side to side or right to left, as we could show with Kohler, meaning I mentioned at the beginning delivery-wise, if he turns too much and you're ultimately trying to get to your release point and then go, you hear it often, whether it's Little League, high school, a downhill throw. So now you're going to go, in his case, right to left and now north and south. So there's a small fine line with not getting too rotational so that you get around the ball, around the baseball, right? Your arm's like it's a little lower and you can't get through it.
In the gap, Yelich is there and he makes the catch. 1, 2, 3 for Kohler.
There we get an 8-pitch inning.
Halfway through, scoreless ball game. Phillies and Marlins. Presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. All quiet, it seems like, on South Beach, and all quiet in Marlins Park because Tom Kohler and Jared Eichhoff are both on. Jeff Mathis, Miguel Rojas, Tom Kohler, and if anybody reaches, Ichiro. If you are just joining us, first of all, good evening. Welcome to Marlins Park. Rich Waltz, Al Leiter, Jessica Blaylock. Ichiro got the start in center. First pitch he saw, he blasted 300 and I want to say 95 feet from home plate. Problem was Peter Borges made a catch up against the wall, injured himself, and had to leave the game. Ichiro robbed of a hit there. His next at bat, a sharp ground ball up the middle, backhanded by Cesar Hernandez. He got him by less than a step at first, so he's come close. 4 hits shy of 3,000. Sharp ground ball off the bat of Mathis. Galvis loads up and gets him. Baseball wish is kind of the theme tonight, but we'll take any questions on emails and tweets. Jim, who honorary member of the crack staff, has a list of baseball wishes. Wants to hit a home run off the left field scoreboard, throw a fastball 100 miles an hour, take a pie in the face from the monkey. And I had to read that tweet just at this moment because reportedly that's the monkey right there, Miguel Rojas. It was the pie in the face guy postgame. Jim also wants to go skinny dipping in the Clevelander pool. That would get you ejected, Jim, from Marlins Park. I'm sorry.
That's a big wish list there.
Now his last wish.
The Rich Waltz for a day. Ah,
because he would like to sit next to you.
Yeah, right.
There's the pool that Jim would like to frolic in, apparently. Here's the 0-2. Did he go? Yes, he did.
What do you mean?
Now Rupp is asking for him to ask, but the home plate umpire has already said swing, and now Rojas is saying, well, if the catcher didn't think I swung, how can you say I swung?
This is the biggest bugaboo for every hitter. They say, how does a home plate umpire track a pitch, see whether it's a ball or strike, and then quickly look at the swing? He went. You don't think he went?
You thought he went?
I mean, look where his hands were. I mean, what do you, first of all, the rules is ridiculous. It's so vague and it's so subjective to every umpire. I thought his hands went out in front and there was a little bit of break of his wrist. However, it's a good point. You know, if you are tracking and it is close and hard enough to identify, just refer to the base umpires. Every hitter is fine with that. They're not always happy with the final answer.
I always find it curious that a catcher can ask for an appeal, but a hitter can't.
Oh, there, like, oh, I don't like your answer. Go
right.
Refer to somebody else.
Right, because the catcher doesn't like the answer to begin with. Kohler pulls one foul. I've always wondered why the catcher gets that courtesy and not the hitter. Ichiro's on deck. Kohler with 2 outs is the hitter, and he's behind in the count 0-2. Maybe that would be Miguel Rojas's baseball wish. Eichhoff bounces a breaking ball. Eichhoff 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. Kohler 5 strikeouts, no walks.
Well, Kohler's doing what he did up in Philadelphia 5 days ago, but that young man right there, this is a Jekyll and Hyde outing for him. Gave up 6 runs in 5 innings, and here he is shutting the Marlins out.
Low to Kohler, and it's 2-2. Tom has 3 hits this year. They get 6 strikeouts for Eichhoff. 1, 2, 3 go the Fish in the 5th. Scoreless still. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today, and by Checkers. Fast foodies know the deal. In Miami tonight, runs are hard to get, so are hits. Tom Kohler, Jared Eichhoff have been dealing tonight. Rich Waltz along with Al Leiter. Emails and tweets tonight. Tight game, so we haven't had to really bury us with emails and tweets, as each row 0 for 2 so far. Al busily looking.
I'm trying. Let me read that. You have one?
I do. I have one just for you.
All right, go ahead.
This is from Greg in West Palm. Al, do you keep in touch with any of your teammates from the '97 World Championship team? If so, who? And with whom are you closest?
Wow. Good question. Let me see now. I occasionally I had my chance to say hello to Jeff Conine a little while ago. Periodically through different events we do. I've seen Charlie Johnson. For some reason, different various baseball alumni stuff. Gary Sheffield, Moises Alou I've seen recently. Not on a regular basis, but I think more than anything else, based on life and how your family life gets in the way, you get a chance to meet up with some people. There's Jet Niner.
So Conan apparently emotional about that last.
Yes, sure.
Look at that. You could tell.
He's a very emotional guy.
Yeah, when he heard that you hold him close from that '97 team, you can see he's tearing up.
Yes, I can tell. All right, let's see here. What about who's this guy?
I got one. There you go. Joe wants to know, why not stretch out David Phelps and make him a starting pitcher now that Rodney has joined the bullpen? And you saw David as a Yankee, obviously. You're a Yankee broadcaster in your spare time.
I think the role, right, and there's no doubt about it. David Phelps did a nice job in that versatile role that you can start and relieve. But listen, I know of late he hasn't been as good. He's had a couple clunkers in there, but I like David Phelps. I think the big thing with Phelpsy is that, like any other reliever, you have to find days in which you can give them adequate rest so that they're more 100%. That's really what plays out for relievers as the year goes along.
Jimmy Paredes hard down that first base line. Rojas gets to the bag. Cardinals and Marlins, remember it's a 4-game series, and on Saturday another All-Star Saturday. Fans get an Alex Gonzalez All-Star bobblehead courtesy of U Health Systems, and you can dress up for Zombie Night at the park. Get your Zombie Night ticket package, including a special t-shirt, at marlins.com/special events. But it's bobblehead night. It's Alex Gonzalez. And it's the Cardinals and the Marlins. All right, here is a Eichhoff-Kohler matchup. Someone wants to know how you did against Don Mattingly, or how Don Mattingly did against you. Did you face him at all?
You know, I faced him. You know, he retired in '95, right? That the year they
after the '95 season.
That's right. So I don't remember many at bats. I remember there was a game in Toronto. I think he got a double off me. I'm going to say maybe there was 5 at bats.
That was from Keith. Any favorite memories of him as a player?
Oh my gosh, I don't have enough time in this game, although it looks like the way we're going, we might play 18. He was one of my absolute favorites. I'm a young kid growing up in New Jersey. It's already Donnie baseball. Had a chance to play with Don Mattingly at the height of his career. You know, and what a guy, what a man's man, a leader, ran infield practice, literally, based on bunt plays and pitchers thrown over and pickoffs. And I knew he had manager in him. You know, as a young kid, 87, 88, 89. I was there for 3 years before I got traded to Toronto. What a group, too, Rich. From Don Mattingly to Ron Guidry, Dave Righetti, my mentor to this day, Willie Randolph, Winfield, Henderson. It was just, you know, it was real special.
Crack staff reports as Eichhoff walks. 1 for 7 was Don against you with a double. 1 for 7.
1 for 7. Okay, I figured 5 at bats.
All right, got a tweet from Eduardo, and his wish is that we could have a 3-man booth during a Marlins game.
Eduardo Perez.
And
I saw your pops.
He also adds, Al, he did not swing. at the pitch.
Of course he would say that. See, that would be the fun of having a hitter here, because I'm begging for every strike. And the rules actually is not a good rule.
Hernandez lines it into left field. Yelich picks it up. And with one out, the Phils have runners first and second. All kind of set up by the one-out walk to the pitcher, Eichhoff.
Yeah, that's a big bugaboo, and I can bet you Tom Kohler, you know, you walk the opposing pitcher in a tight game like this. You've only given up 2 hits up until that single that we just saw there from Hernandez. Don't let it bother you. You continue to make good pitches. Right here, you're thinking ground ball somewhere. There you go.
And this Eduardo guy wants to know, how did you do against him in the big leagues?
So this Eduardo guys, folks, wore me out. I want to say he batted at least 400, couple bombs. I don't know exactly for sure, but I know some. We're going to get the answer on that. Eduardo probably has the numbers.
He probably does.
He matched up. I'll tell you what, Eduardo Perez against left-handed pitchers wore a lot of guys out.
You can hear Rojas calling for it. The infield fly is called. And he makes the catch.
That's a big out right there. A little fastball getting inside on a double Herrera. Huge out.
7 for 26 was Eduardo Perez against you. 3 doubles, 3 homers.
3 homers. I knew it. Gosh, I hated facing him. My last at bat, I don't know, I think I may have shared with you with Eduardo. I was supposed to get an inning in spring training after the first WBC in '06. And it's against the Indians. Eduardo, I guess it was the end of his career, I'm not really sure. And I faced one batter, and it's Eduardo Perez. Joe Torre said, yeah, I'll let you get one at bat. It's spring training, because my arm was fine. I was done. And Eduardo hits a ground ball to Alex Rodriguez over to first. And Ron Guidry, the pitching coach in '06, comes out and takes me out. It's the end of my career.
Well, you had a good one.
Well, thank you, Rich. It was more than I ever dreamt.
Breaking ball. This is away to Michael Franco, who has bounced out to the left side twice. I'm expecting a tweet now from
Charles Johnson.
No, Preston.
Oh, Preston, yeah.
2-0. Runners first and second. Remember, it's the pitcher Eichhoff who's at second.
Ooh, pulled the string.
That's a big swing. That's a button popper.
Well, that's the pitch he got out Franco in his last at bat with a little 5-3 ground ball to third. This is a slider, middle of the plate. Too much of the plate for me. If you look at this pitch, ball is up, middle, and he's just pulling off. That better location. Throw the same pitch, but get the down and away location. Franco susceptible to the off speed from the right-handed pitcher.
Kohler's 2-1.
There it is. Repeat that pitch. He doesn't hit it. Better location. Velocity was about the same, but just a better location. And that's key right there. You're at a 2-1 count. You got away with a hanger in a 2-0 count for a guy who's a free swinger. 18 home runs on the year.
Now it's 2-2. Off speed, popped shallow center. Dietrich has it.
Nice.
Ichiro leads it off. Bottom 6, Fish and Phils. And a scoreless to Ichiro. 0 for 2 so far tonight.
He's an extraordinary talent. He's a once-in-a-lifetime type talent. And Ichiro is a friend, is someone who I have the utmost respect for, and he's committed to his family and to baseball, and that makes it pretty special.
We have a large vault of words, faces, and thoughts just like that from around Major League Baseball. Alex Rodriguez with his thoughts on Ichiro, a teammate with the Yankees for a couple of seasons. And the 42-year-old Ichiro tonight, 4 hits shy of 3,000. He's had some good at-bats, Al. His first AB, a blast to the gap and to the wall, about 395 feet from home plate that was caught. Leaping catch.
Yeah, that first pitch of the game, boy, I thought that was 1-0 Marlins. This was it. First pitch down the middle. We'll talk about it often. Ichiro, if he wanted to be a home run hitter, he could hit his 25 hit. And then the third inning, this was a little hanging, little breaking ball. Stayed on it, but nice defensive alignment. Cesar Hernandez making a nice little backhand play, firm throw. Ichiro barely get called out on that.
So here he is. You see the hit total. Trying to finish the climb to 3,000. There are only 29 members of the 3,000 hit club. 29. Wow. 15 right-handed hitters, 12 left-handed, and a couple switch hitters. Ichiro, another ground ball, and again Hernandez gets to it. A frustrating night for the Marlins leadoff man. Ichiro 0 for 3, but he's got company in that dugout. This has been a frustrating 3 games for the Fish ever since they ran into Steven Matz on Sunday, and Jeremy Hellickson last night, and Jared Eichhoff tonight. Coors presents a cold hard fact. Highest average by third baseman. Martin Prado on top. Arenado, Lamb. Adonis Garcia on that list. And the Dodgers welcome back Justin Turner. He's little by little coming back from that microfracture surgery. Cal Franco on the bottom of the lists, but in the top 5. Prado with the count 2-1. Adam wants to know, could you ever throw a knuckleball?
No.
Or did you ever try to throw a knuckleball?
In a game? No. I had a ball that slipped out of my hand that acted like a knuckleball.
Was it a strike?
Remember Ron Karkovice, the catcher?
Yeah.
So I was in Chicago, started my delivery. The ball, it was a guy on base, and the ball almost slipped out of my hand, literally, because it hit my leg. And I landed and threw like a lob pitch. It was like a forkball.
Prado gets into that one, drills it all the way to the wall, and a double. The 22nd of the season for Martin Prado, and a man in scoring position for Yelich and then Stanton.
Let's keep talking about it, Rich. You know, location of pitches, and are the Marlins or Philly hitters taking advantage of it? That's a hanger that's up in the zone. You got a good hitter that keeps the plane of the bat through the hitting zone longer, as opposed to pulling off. That barrel stays inside. And nice piece of job. That's what hanging pitches get hit hard by. It's a good hitter right there, Martin Prado.
Yelich has singled and walked. He has been a guy that's been dialed in against Eichhoff this last week. Had a homer and a single against him up in Philly. A single and a walk here. Eichhoff comes in. In terms of pitch count, you see Mike Dunn in Miami's pen. Kohler is just at 73 pitches. Eichhoff is at 71.
Excellent. That's not a problem. In this day and age, 70 pitches. This sixth inning.
So my question would be, why is Mike Dunn up?
That's a good question.
Prado's got a good lead. 1-2. Yelich sends it to left. Ashe over, makes the catch. And there are 2 outs, and here comes Stanton with first base open. But he's 0 for 2 tonight against Eichhoff with a strikeout.
You got Mike Dunn warming up. Clearly he's not warming up just for the fun of it. I mean, could it be is that the assistant trainer?
That's Dustin Luker, the head trainer. And
head trainer, okay.
Juan Nieves right next to him. They have Kohler surrounded right now.
Shutout through 6 innings with 72 pitches.
That one down the line, but foul. Nice play. The count's 0-1. Eichhoff has pounded Stanton in and in. And in some more.
Wow. Stanton frustrated in his last at bat by a same count on 0-2 pitch that was an 0-1 pitch that was a curveball. And he just missed.
"24 innings without a run." And a 1-1 count to Stanton. Outfield deep. That one fouled back. One and 2.
Fastball just up just enough above Stanton's hands. Hard to lay off.
Stanton, ground ball, right field, base hit. Prado around third. Paredes with the throw. He is in there. 1-0 Miami. Finally a run, and it's Stanton who goes against the shift. And we've seen that happen this year.
Yeah, with 2 strikes. What a nice approach. Fastball away. Eichhoff made a good pitch. Watch the location here. You see Cameron Rupp. That pitch is on the outside part of the plate. The ball carries a little bit deeper into the zone. Stanton does a nice job. Does not try to pull off it. The shift, a huge hole on the right side of this Philly infield. Expecting Giancarlo Stanton to pull the baseball. Huge at bat, huge hit in this game. First run being pushed across here at the bottom of the 6th inning.
Now Dietrich. Breaking ball for a strike. Dietrich has struck out twice. Last night an 0 for 3 with a strikeout. And he chases a breaking ball down and in. And it's 0-2. That's a swing. And Dietrich strikes out for the 3rd time. But Miami gets a run. The double by Prado. There's your run, kid. coverage of baseball. Al, let's extend our coverage. How about Jed Jerko, 2-run homer in the third, and that was game 1 against the Mets. The Cardinals won it. Cardinals now tied with the Marlins for that second wild card spot. Melvin Upton Jr. acquired by the Blue Jays in a trade with the Padres today. Joey Gallo, #1 prospect, called up today by Texas. Remember, Prince Fielder out for the rest of the season with the neck surgery. Giancarlo Stanton drives in, the only run so far. Now the attention quickly centers on the mound where Mike Dunn is loosening up. Tom Kohler went 6. You saw the Marlins trainer standing next to Kohler, 73 pitches. So your instincts tell you that something is up, whether there's some sort of injury issue, whether Kohler doesn't feel well, whatever it is, it doesn't seem like he would come out of the game normally at 73 pitches. Remember, he pitched 8 innings against the Phillies. So here is Mike Dunn. We'll try to get word and find out the status of Kohler. Tommy Joseph comes in to hit.
Tom Kohler was excellent tonight. I agree with you. 73 pitches, 6 innings, only 3 singles, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. What a job.
Did Japenny bring you Tommy Joseph? And Dunn with a slider. It's 0-2. And remember, the Marlins bullpen has been worked pretty heavily lately, especially last night. 5-inning start from Cozart, the 6-inning start from Urena. And the key arms really have worked. Guys like Bearclaw, Rodney, Ramos, Phelps. Foul back to the screen. This is a night where a guy like Nick Wickren may be called upon to get some high leverage outs. Joseph fouls it off. Howard got the start and struck out twice against Kohler. 5 strikeouts, a walk, no runs, 3 hits in 6 innings. And Dunn misses away.
In spring training, you had that left forearm strain, came back the end of May.
Joseph lifts it to center. Ichiro out there tonight, and he makes a catch. Cameron Rupp. Donnie has an email question or a tweet, I think.
You said Donnie?
Yeah, not Mattingly, but Donnie. Why does Giancarlo Stanton run the bases with his batting gloves in his hands? That is an old trick to keep base runners, when they slide, from dragging their hands, jamming their wrists.
Or worse, break their wrists.
Or break, yeah, you're right. So sometimes before batting gloves, guys used to pick up a handful of dirt and carry that with them. Now, a lot of hitters will just roll up the batting gloves and keep those in their hands so that when they slide instinctively, they don't jam the hands into the dirt.
Well, it's a reminder, too, when you slide, you allow your body to slide. Don't break your body with your hands, meaning hands come down to break the fall. Throw your hands up in the air. So with something in your hands, you're not going to have the propensity to want to brace yourself. Feet first slides.
almost on cue. Nick Whitgren in the Miami bullpen. Two balls, two strikes. And Dunn misses in. So Dunn's job is to build a bridge from the 7th to the 8th. Like I said, the Marlins pen might be a bit short-handed tonight. This could be a tough play. Prado bare hands, and it hits the runner. Rojas had no chance to catch the ball. Probably a base hit, and it is. Rupp gets an infield hit, and now you've got Ashe, the left-handed bat.
I know Kevin Rupp is a slower runner as a result of being a catcher, but boy, I watched Prado. Ball ended up hitting Rupp in the back somewhere. That was a heck of a play, all in one motion. Martin Prado from down under. Hitting Rupp in the rump.
Now, Don Mattingly is going to ask if Rupp was inside the baseline, the base path for the runner. It's a call that's normally reserved for catchers that are throwing, but from that angle, Prado was close to the plate.
I mean, it's hard for right-handers to not be.
Yeah, but look where he's running.
Well, it's kind of a silly.
Yeah, but that's clearly inside the path, and the ball hits him. But the Marlins aren't going to win that argument. Look at him coming up the line, Al.
No, I'm with you. I think this rule in some way has to be changed, whether whoever's hitting, to go from the right-handed batter's box. It's hard to peel out, run on the outside. You see it a lot. To come swing, full swing, run from somewhere in the bunting circle, and then have to run on the outside, and then come back on the inside to touch the bag on the inside of the line.
A lot of it is protection for a first baseman, because there are some severe injuries that happen swing and a miss. Was it Cliff Floyd that broke his thumb?
Yeah.
Reaching
Montreal when
a runner came up, and Rojas had to make a decision there. Does he stick the glove in and try to catch it, or I mean, Rupp's almost twice his size. You don't want to take that hit. Now Dunn working on Ashe. As well, just this note to finish that play, that's not reviewable. Interference or obstruction at this point is not reviewable. It's 2-2. I think that play should be reviewable, because I think sometimes in the heat of the battle you don't necessarily get a clear look on a play like that. Maybe the umpires weren't thinking about it with Prado, the guy fielding the ball. Ouch, that's off of Mathis.
I mean, I think the issue is that it's a difficult rule, or it's a dumb rule, to have a runner from the right-handed batter's box to have to hustle down the line, be conscious of running in foul territory, and then at the very end, by the way, you got to run and tag a base that's on inside the bag. So, I mean, clearly he's in the inside. You're not in the runner's lane, right? That line that's on the outside that barely anybody ever runs, if ever, on beating out an infield ground ball.
Well, we're going to have the commissioner here tomorrow, but I'll let you play commissioner after this pitch. How do you change that rule?
Well, I think it's got to be discretion of both the first base umpire who's looking down the line and the home plate umpire who's looking up. I think it is a questionable. So if you just hold that, Sauls, real quick, if you're running from over here somewhere, right, and now you have to run out this way and then run this way and then run back to touch a bag on the inside part of the line, makes no sense to me. It's really difficult to do in 4.3 seconds or however fast these quick guys run.
That's good, sharp breaking ball from Dunn, and he gets a strikeout of Ashen.
Now, I think there's times it's deliberate. Maybe you make the grass. Now, here at Marlins Park, the grass is very close to the line. In some stadiums, it's unique to every ballpark. You have wider base paths, if you will. Maybe you change that, because there are some guys really blatant that would be running way inside what looks like 3 or 4 feet inside the line.
Galvis fouls it off.
Let me see if one more. Now this right here, folks, that's pretty close. Let's see if I can do it straight. That's pretty close to the line. There's some grass cutouts that's farther. If you get a guy that's blatantly running somewhere in that angle, yeah, now it becomes umpire's discretion. You know, this down the line. Now, again, it's deceiving because every park is different. I think, you tell me, Rich, if that base path is a tight cut of dirt here at Marlins Park.
Average, I think.
Average, okay. Well, maybe we'll get a chance to talk to Mr. Manfred about that. I'm sure he'd love to hear that.
I'll bet everywhere he goes, people come up to him and say, hey, you know what?
Yeah,
I wish this would change, or I wish you'd stop this, or add this.
He's great. I think Rob Manfred's doing a heck of a job. Open to listen to just about anything to help improve the game. Did you hear the latest? Now, again, it's all just throwing stuff out there. Baseball writers, columnists coming up with different ideas, but about the idea of how do you limit late in the game pitching changes.
Right.
And it might have legs. You bring a guy in, a lefty specialist, quote unquote, you got to face 2 batters. You're not just coming in for 1 batter. I don't know. Does that ruin the integrity of the game? Or seriously change?
Well, the game changed to get to this point from 50s, 60s, 70s. Now, I'm not a guy that said, look, we should go back to the 60s or the 70s. But the specialization, the modern day bullpen is built completely different than it was even 10, 15 years ago.
Absolutely.
Here's a 1-2. Mike Dunn, nice inning. Strikeout of Galvis. Leaves Rupp at first. Miami hanging on to a 1-0 lead.
Driven by Ford. Now, we've been taking a bunch of your baseball wishes on Twitter. Here are some of the unique ones that I've seen so far. For Clark, he wants Ichiro to get hit 3,000 on a grand he says that he wants to hit a home run off of Aroldis Chapman, especially off that 105-mile-per-hour fastball. For Riordan, he says he wants to turn filthy double plays with Etch. And guys, how about this one for Jose? He wants to sit in the booth with you and call a game. But how about this? I found a birthday boy. It's Joel's 16th birthday, so happy birthday, Joel. We're granting baseball wishes tonight, birthday wishes. This is a great Twitter and email Tuesday, guys.
You know, and it started out, Jess, you see Ichiro waiting and watching. Echeverria, Mathis, Rojas, pitcher spot, then Ichiro. Echeverria trying to bunt, and he misses badly. Tommy Joseph stays in the ball game at first base. The evening started out with that terrific feature on Marlins Live, and Jessica Blaylock touching upon it just before first pitch. Micah, who had the baseball wish of wanting to manage the Marlins for a day. And so there he is watching the game. There's Micah. I love the fact that he had to sign the contract first with Michael Hill. There he is signing the contract. And then he's manager for the day, so he goes right into Mattingly's office. And Don Mattingly and his bench coach, he's going over the lineup. Now Micah is right away is saying, I want Ichiro in the lineup. And so coincidentally, Ichiro is leading off at center field. Way to go, Micah.
That's great.
It is. And that's what got us into this baseball wish thing tonight.
So good.
Mathis with the count 0-2. He doubled in the second, bounced to short back in the fifth.
Wow, what a job, Jared Eichhoff. See David Phelps, get ready.
Yeah, two things there. You saw Phelps, but you heard the buzz, and that's the bullpen phone that's ringing. Reed Cornelius, bullpen coach, answering it. Mathis strikes out. Eichhoff still throwing strikes. There's 2 outs. All-Star Poster Day coming up on Sunday. First 15,000 fans, a Marlins All-Star poster, courtesy of Franklin Dodd Communications. And of course, a Sunday fun day, 1:10 start. Kids can run the bases in the Diamond Dash. Marlins.com for tickets. Here's Rojas. That's a called strike. And it's 0-1. It was Wickren who was up during Dunn's inning. Now Phelps is up. Rojas rips it into left. That's a base hit. And Marcell Ozuna has emerged on deck with the pitcher due up. That's a good time for Ozuna.
That's a nice, quick, short, compact swing from Rojas. Fastball down the middle. Well, get through the past the third baseman Franco in a hurry. A little 0-1 Peter down the middle. Now Mr. Ozuna.
In the dirt, Rojas moves up. And Ozuna has a runner in scoring position.
Eichhoff just hold it a little tighter. You got Ozuna, has been struggling throwing a 59-footer in the left-handed batter's box. Not wanting to hang it. Ball just bounced away and kicked into the Philly dugout. Watch how far this ball bounces away.
Ozuna doubled against Eichhoff. left center. And Herrera's there, and he makes the catch. Still 1-0. Games on the go on DirecTV and AT&T. Download the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Take Fox Sports Florida and Marlins baseball wherever you go. Changes. Don Kelly in at first. Rojas replaces Dietrich at second. And now Phelps will take over. He takes over for Mike Dunn. Phelps on the year, a 2.84 ERA. If you're just joining us, Tom Kohler went 6 innings, but came out after 73 pitches. And he was in the presence of Dustin Lukert, Marlins trainer, and Juan Nieves for a good long time in that dugout before he turned and went into the clubhouse. And we'll try to get you a report before the game ends. If not, obviously an update coming on Marlins Live post-game. And so Phelps, now we talked about guys that have worked a lot. And Phelps is one of those. Kyle Bearclaw probably off limits. The manager will look at a workload, number of pitches, number of days worked, stay away from guys. You see Phelps, he's worked in 3 of the last 4, but Sunday, 1/3 of an inning. An inning last night against the Phillies with 3 strikeouts. And the Marlins are hopeful for an inning here, and we'll see who is available to close. Paredes was 0 for 2, swings and misses.
Phelps coming in last night in the 6th inning when the game was still 0-0, striking out Hernandez, Herrera, and then Tommy Joseph. He had a walk of Maikel Franco.
Ouch. A swing and a miss, and you heard that pop and saw the recoil of Mathis, who was okay, thankfully.
No breaking ball down and in, and then that backswing just nicking him on his mask.
Two balls, 2 strikes. See, the pitches thrown last 7 days. That's why we talked about that Sunday 1/3 of an inning through 2 pitches. And he loads Loads up a fastball at 95.
That's a nice job right there, blowing away Paredes. High fastball. This was last night. Phelpsy curveball down. Cesar Hernandez gas upstairs to Herrera. And Tommy Joseph by it. Nice job.
Pitcher spot here in the 8th, and Taylor Featherston gets the at bat, and double barrel action in the Phillies pen. Andrew Bailey, Hector Neris. Featherston with the Angels last year, made his major league debut. Called up from Lehigh Valley, the Iron Pigs. One of the great minor league nicknames. That's when Andres Blanco went on the DL yesterday. Remember, Blanco had his finger cut and broken trying to apply a tag in that Pirates series.
David Phelps is looking good. 95. He touched a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Both his slider curveball combo. Attacking the hitters.
1-2. And Featherston chases. Phelps another fastball and another strikeout.
This is plus velocity from a guy that mostly, especially as a starter, has been in that low 90 range. See, even that, not only does 95 and upstairs, but had a little cut to it.
Fastball up to Cesar Hernandez, 1 for 3 in the leadoff spot. Melissa wanting to know, will D. Gordon start this week? Well, he's here on Thursday. And the struggles right now that Derek Dietrich is having at the plate, you would think when he gets here, he'll probably get in there. Don Mattingly has said not necessarily every day. He wants to blend him into the lineup. And obviously he's got to blend into the clubhouse as well. Phelps has it, tags the runner out. 1-0 Miami. Don't go anywhere. Ichiro leads it off on an 0 for 3 night. Hits are hard to come by. He's come close a couple times tonight. He is 4 shy of 3,000. Marlins have 5 hits. Ichiro is not included in that group. On 0 for 3 tonight. Robbed of extra bases in the first. A sharp ground ball up the middle in the third, and another ground ball to the second baseman in the sixth. 4 shy of 3,000. Andrew Bailey's in. And a cutter that runs in on Ichiro at 90 miles an hour. Phillies outfields towards left center. Infield pretty much straight up for Ichiro. How did you fare against Ichiro? How did you pitch him?
He hit me. I mean, I remember mostly facing him when he was actually in Japan.
Ichiro left field, a base hit. He is 3 away from 3,000. Well, you knew if he continued to swing the bat tonight the way he has, that something would fall, and it does. So 2,997.
Got a hanging breaking ball from Andrew Bailey after a couple grounders to second base and nearly hit the ball out of the ballpark. First pitch of this game. Patented Ichiro Suzuki going the other way on that pitch out over the plate. What a hitter.
Well, and in the context of the game, that's a big, big run. The hit counter, the manually operated one, being adjusted. Ichiro at first. Bailey tosses over. And so when you pitched against him, where were you trying to pitch him? Where was the spot to get him out?
As a lefty, I tried to go in because I knew he was going to do something like he just did there to Andrew Bailey. He was so good. Anything away, he stayed on the ball. And early in his career, you know that, Rich, watching Seattle all those years, he banged the ball on the ground on the left side, he beat it out. I didn't get many at-bats because when he got to the big leagues, I was already in the National League. So other than some interleague play opportunities, I may have had I don't really remember, actually.
Two for 2 was Ichiro against you.
Is that right? Okay. So my guess, I do remember playing the Mariners at Shea Stadium when I was at the Mets. So that must have been it. I know that, you know, every other year that Major League Baseball, they put together an all-star team to go to Japan. And that was the first time I ever faced him or saw him in 1998.
Before he was in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Did you get any inkling in that all-star that this was a guy that could come over and have this type of success?
Oh, I don't know about, 3,000 hits and having the most hits on the planet. But yes, as a result of his speed, his athleticism, a most fundamentally sound guy that I've seen, major leagues or in Japan. And he's a magician with the bat. We've seen it now for how many years?
Bailey misses out, and it's 2-0.
That all-star opportunity going over there, albeit exhibition, it was really Matsui, Hideki Matsui, who was still playing for the Tokyo Giants before he became a Yankee. He was kind of the big draw, but Ichiro was right there.
Ichiro runs, and he's in there. Of course, he's over 500 stolen bases as well.
40 or not, plus getting up there in age, his 9th stolen base on the season. Got a good jump. He got a big leg kick from the reliever. Nice job. Got a big run in this game here. Getting Ichiro to second base.
You watch the violence of that slide as he pops up. One of the most amazing things to me is that he has never been on the disabled list for an injury. The only time he was on the disabled list in his career was for an ulcer. And that came right after the World Baseball Classic of 2009. He did not have a great tournament, though he had the game-winning hit in the championship game. And many felt that it was the pressure of playing for his home country that gave him that ulcer. That's the only time he's been on the DL. I mean, that's a 42-year-old guy going full speed into that bag and popping up with his 505th stolen base. Prado walks. Geico's MLB moment, 1943. Archie Vaughn hits a game-winning inside the park grand slam off the base of the left center light tower in Forbes Field. That's a poke. Now Yelich. And Bailey misses in. Marlins looking for insurance. A 1-0 lead, bottom 8. It's Fernando Rodney who is warming up right now for the night.
Big runs right here. Tack-on run opportunity for the Marlins. Bob McClure, the pitching coach, coming out. A little conversation with Andrew Belly.
MLB.com @bat app. Stay up to the moment. Game day, live game video highlights, StatCasts, and more. Download MLB.com @bat #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Ichiro with a base hit, a 1-for-4 night, and a stolen base. Yelich with a 1-0 count, and the Phillies pen in action.
Christian Yelich right now can just really narrow that zone to exactly his sweet spot. Andrew Bailey struggled a little bit here, get behind a very good hitter, Yelich. That's a perfect paint cut fastball down and away on Black. Look at that, just barely nip it down and away.
Ichiro at second. Prado at first. Yelich takes out. It's 3-1. In this nice run that Yelich has had, it seems like he's always in a good hitter's count. He's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. He's in a 3-1 count here. Career high 10 homers. Goes after a breaking ball. It's 3-2. Now Ichiro just swiped second. Counts full here. I think with Stanton on deck, probably want the runners not running. You got a preference?
No, I'm with you. I think the only reason you got a guy that handles the bat, puts the ball in play, 333 hitter.
Not running, and Yelich strikes out.
Strike him out, throw him out. That would have been
yeah, you don't want to take, I guess, the bat out of the hands of Stanton, and it was Stanton who drove in the only run of the night. 2-out single in the 6th. So here he is again. I think for every Stanton home run from this point forward, we should just play the audio of Dontrelle Willis yelling, "Mama, there goes that man again." There goes that man again. Ooh, he had a big rip and a breaking ball.
Wow, that's another hanger, just up, out, over.
Have you heard Dontrelle's call of that Stanton homer?
No, but Dontrelle is
Stanton. There you go.
John Carlos, the jump shooter. Okay, he's locked in. He's locked in.
Stanton, deep. Goodness. Big G with a big fly. Stanton rips one right field and over the head of Paredes and off the wall. Ichiro scores. Prado scores. triple. There goes that man again.
We didn't get to that part. There he goes. Wow.
Did it bounce over and off the old part of the wall? If so, Stanton would have to go back to second. Prado would have to go back to third.
Well, bounced up on the black.
Well, that's out of play.
Okay, well, that's what it did. Fastball after hanging the breaking ball. Beautiful swing. This one he elevates, last at bat, big a hit. You see the ball hit the back of the wall. It's out of play. Paredes. I love it. I know that Stanton can do like there that. What do you say? That's right. Let that man go again.
There goes that man again.
That pitch right there. That is an excellent approach for Stanton to stay on a fastball that's down and away instead of pulling off.
Stanton has given the Marlins a 2-0 lead. And Kendall Toyota called to the pen. Severino Gonzalez is in. The first order of business for him is to intentionally walk Chris Johnson. Danny Echeverria is on deck. Now Johnson was in the original starting lineup. He had a good batting practice, but he is not 100% while running. And so the Marlins scratched him from the lineup and are hopeful that in the next day or two he's able to run a little bit better, and thus Tom Mattingly will probably put him in that lineup and keep him in that lineup. Numbers for Severino Gonzalez, 13th appearance. See, Jose Urena is going to pinch run for Johnson.
There you go.
That's it. Look at that. How great is that? That if you've got a sore foot and you're available to pinch hit, when it comes time where they need you, you get put in the game, intentionally walked, and then pinch run for
by a pitcher.
Stay hot, Chris Johnson. Echeverria, bags loaded. 2 grand slams for Echeverria, one at the Phillies' expense in Philadelphia. Fastball in.
Interesting. Pete McCann, the Phillies manager. Normally, if there's an intentional walk, you have the previous pitcher intentionally walk the batter. Gonzalez.
Edge into right field. That's a hit. Cut off by Paredes. Prado scores. Stanton scores. And Miami has stretched the lead here. Some big hits in the inning. Ichiro, Stanton, and now Echeverria.
Echeverria love the Marlins going the other way, staying on this baseball. We've seen twice Stanton do it. This ball is actually middled, not trying to do a whole lot. 2-0 count. Looked like Severino Gonzalez trying to just find a strike here. Middle of the plate, driving that ball to right center field. Huge, huge tack on runs late in the game for the Marlins.
Mathis, fastball strike. First and second. And of course, the runner at second is Jose Urena. So don't expect Lenny Harris to send him on a sharp single to the outfield. Stanton with some nice at-bats. Remember the single to right with 2 outs on an outside fastball against the shift. And then the double to right center. He's driven in 2, and Echeverria just drove in 2. 1-2 to Mathis. Now, just for thought here, a couple of guys get on, get Ichiro another at bat. Near the bottom of the 8th, you're going to need Mathis and Rojas or Kelly, 2 of the 3 to get on. And Gonzalez misses out. Look, he's putting the gloves back on.
He heard you.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I got a shot for another at bat here.
That's right. Cardinals won the first game on a Jed Jerko home run. Mets in game 2 have a 3-1 lead, top 6. Cardinals with that win pulled even with the Marlins in the wild card, but all of that pales in comparison to getting a win here for the Marlins, getting some runs, snapping that long scoreless streak. What was it, 24 innings? And obviously a Mets loss is nice for the Fish because they can push some distance between themselves and the Mets in both the division and in the wild card. Nationals playing the Indians, and the Nationals are up 5-3 in the 8th in that one. Rojas, that's a base hit. Scorches it down the line. Paredes cuts it off. Urena is going to score. Rojas with his second hit of the night.
Another hit from going the other way by the Marlins. 8th double on the year from Miguel. Watch this here, a little slider that stays up and up. Does a nice job firing that ball past the first baseman. Foot goes down, not trying to do a whole lot. See the big gap right there. Tommy Joseph playing pull off the line for Miguel Rojas. Here the Marlins putting it on. 4 runs in the 8th inning.
Now Kelly, who takes outside. The drama here is there's 2 outs. Ichiro's on deck. And so if Kelly can get on, preferably knock home a couple runs, you get another Ichiro at bat. And it's 2-0. Kelly going after that 2-0 pitch, fouls it off. It's 2-1. Pitch is out, and it's 3-1.
Uh-oh.
I mean, really? Now look, the Marlins would love to have these insurance runs, but the drama here is whether Ichiro gets another at bat. Kelly grinding out the at bat. Here's the 3-1. Fouls it back. And it's 3-2. That stretching routine that no one had ever seen anything like when he arrived in 2001. He still does it at 42. Full count. And he walks him, and listen to the crowd. They know what's going on. They know what's at stake here.
To add a little to it, Rich, comes Bob McClure trying to calm down his young pitcher. And Severino Gonzalez is kind of all over the place.
Ichiro's night started in the bottom of the first on the first pitch he saw from Jared Eichhoff. He ripped it to right center. 395 feet. Borges made the leaping, crashing catch against the wall. A couple of sharp ground ball outs. And his last at bat, the line drive single to left. 4 grand slams in his career. He has not homered this year for the Marlins. And you've got Gonzalez struggling with his control. 10th man to the plate. Bags loaded. 3 hits away from 3,000.
The string first off-speed changeup spun Ichiro to the ground. Watch this after a mid-90s fastball changeup up out over.
Let's see what he comes back with. It's out. Maybe that's a show me for another changeup. It's 1-2.
He better throw it lower than he did the previous pitch.
In foul territory makes the catch. Marlins add on 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th. 5-0 finish. Ichiro getting closer. 3 hits away from 3,000. A line drive, and he's in there. Ichiro into center field. Ichiro base hit. Brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. and by your South Florida Honda dealers. See the concentration on Ichiro's face there. He didn't crack a smile. Very easily could have lost concentration there.
Amazing player, really. Born to be a baseball player.
Look at that. Don't smile.
His father, he was a right-handed hitter. Switched him over to left side because it was quicker to first base. Look at that.
It's Wickren who comes in now in the 9th. Odubel Herrera, Kyle Franco, and then Tommy Joseph. Tom Kohler, 6 innings, 3 hits, but only 73 pitches, and he left after consulting a Marlins trainer and his pitching coach in the dugout. We hope to have some news on Kohler on Marlins Live. Mike Dunn, scoreless inning. David Phelps, scoreless inning. And now Wickren.
What a job Tom Kohler did. Huh? 6 innings and 3 hits. Mentioned only the 73 pitches. Dunn comes in, 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. Phelps, he looked great.
Herrera takes. Wickren just missed. 2-2. Well, the concern is heightened by the fact that Wei-Yin Chen was just placed on the disabled list. And with the tenderness in his elbow, the Marlins want to let that calm down before he resumes throwing. Marlins have been able to get a couple nice starts out of Jose Urena. Nice one from Cozart last night. Prado across the diamond in time. So Wickren has an out here in the 9th. Now remember, tomorrow we have added the telecast tomorrow. We'll start things at 11:30 a.m. with a very special Marlins Live. We will carry live the ceremonies here at Marlins Park, the unveiling of the All-Star logo. The Commissioner, Rob Manfred, is scheduled to appear not only on the field for the ceremonies, but also in the booth between you and I.
Look forward to it. All-Star game, Rich, great event. I mean, it's going to be fantastic for South Florida and Miami and the area, and show off this beautiful stadium.
Strike to Franco. Day game after night game. Obviously, Ichiro giving Ozuna a night off. Would you expect Ozuna back in the lineup tomorrow against a right-hander? Does Ichiro get another start? Or might he play in place of a Yelich? Probably not Stanton after the at-bats we've seen from Stanton. An RBI single or RBI double, but there's
my guess tells me Ichiro's in there tomorrow.
Yeah,
I feel it.
I think you're right.
The year that he's had, I mean, this is not just a you know, a run for 3,000 hits for a great player, a Hall of Fame player. He's been very productive.
Etch streaks in, short hop pick and a nice flip.
Tell you what, Rich, watching Wickren, I mean, he pounds the zone, he throws strikes, like 5 walks coming into this outing. 26th appearance, 31 innings. Good check.
And his importance is growing, I think, by the day, as we've seen in the Marlins bullpen. You can't pitch everybody every night, and with the injuries to the starting rotation, Don Mattingly is trying to push that bullpen closer to the 5th inning. So a guy like Wickren, who when he has pitched in high leverage spots, has looked very comfortable. Joseph, second at bat. And Wickren now out in front 0-2.
The 4 go-to arms any manager could have. Wickren looks, I like the fact that he throws strikes. He's got 2 secondary pitches, throws across his body. You allow your go-to guys additional days off here and there, and it doesn't drop off significantly. Every arm down there is important.
Ball game. Wickren strikes out Joseph. The Marlins finally get a run, and then the gate opens. Ichiro and his teammates. See that? Stan and Yelich. 3 more. 3 more. Terrific effort on the mound as well. Kohler, Dunn, Phelps, Wickren. And the Fish win their 54th game, and they're back to 8 over. And Ichiro is 3 hits away. Nice night for the Fish. Giancarlo Stanton, 2 big hits, RBI double, RBI single. Echeverria, the 2-run single. Miguel Rojas knocked in a run. And tomorrow at 11:30 on Marlins Live, make sure you're with us not only for the special ceremony with the commissioner, Rob Manfred, but also for Don Mattingly's lineup, right? To find out if Peachy's in there against the Phillies. And the Marlins will try to win that series. Let's go down to Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Thanks so much, Rich. Giancarlo, tonight some really nice situational hitting with runners in scoring position. How much do you feel like you were able to deliver some clutch at bats in this game?
The energy was real low again, so I was just trying to find anything to pick us up and get us on a roll. That's it, really.
Yeah, Jared Eichhoff was not giving up a lot of hits. What adjustments did you make as the game went on to finally get to him in that 6th inning?
You know, he was sticking with what was working, so you got to adjust to what's working for him and switch it up a little bit. So, you know, that 3rd at bat for us, you know, we came around a little bit, and then we got to their pen, which is what we needed.
Prior to driving in that run in the 6th, you guys had gone 23 innings without scoring a run. Obviously, that's a little frustrating, but how important is it to not hit that panic button and just continue to try to put together some good at-bats?
I don't think it was a panic button more than just low energy, you know. Which if you aren't scoring, you aren't, you know, getting the high fives in there, that's going to bring things down. So it's more of, you know, trying to keep calm and trying to push towards something good.
Don Mattingly talks so much about a pitcher really helping to set the tone for a game. Tom Kohler with really nice back-to-back games against the Phillies. How much was he able to help keep you guys in it with the way that he pitched tonight?
That's huge. I mean, when you see we got 2 hits and they got 2 hits too. I mean, it's much better for us, but you know we still got to pick it up. But he's done great against them the past 2 games, and you know, glad we got a win for him.
Give us a little insight on that post-game celebration with Christian Yelich and Ichiro. Ichiro with 5 at-bats tonight.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Out there?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Come on, give us
like
something on the field. There? Yeah, let's hear it.
Oh, I mean, we do W's, wins. That's what we're here for. That's it.
All right, appreciate the time, Giancarlo.
Sure.
Congratulations on the wins, guys.
That's what it's all about, wins. 54 of them for the Marlins. 8 games over. And the Fish hold on to 2nd place in the East and that wild card spot as well. Nice night here at Marlins Park. And a 5-0 shutout win. Marlins Live is next.